Hello, my name is Mark Pressman. My call sign is November 4 Delta Romeo and 4DR. This presentation was created for the Montgomery Amateur Radio Club in Montgomery County, Maryland, for the purpose of training our members in the quick setup and use of the Yaesu FT-991A. This is a slide demonstrating what we are going to be talking about, the FT-991A, a quick and easy way to get on the air. And okay, this is the first slide. This is a view of the FT-991A slide when you first turn the power on. Now, this is what it appears at the beginning. Now, the first thing you will need to do is make sure that there is an antenna connected appropriately to the rear antenna connectors. There are two antenna connectors on the back. One is labeled HF and 6 meters, and that's the one closest to the fan. And there's a second one on the back, which is closest to the edge, which says VHF and UHF. Let's say we want to utilize high frequency in 6 meters, so we would plug it in to the jack that is closest to the fan. Once we've done that, we look at what I call the 4 keys to get on quickly. What are the 4 keys? The on-off button, the band button, the mode button, and the tune button. Obviously, this picture shows the radio after the on-off button has been turned on. So now we're going to press the band button. Okay, this is the band button. As you can see in the window, the various amateur bands are displayed. You can also listen to airband, but not transmit. You can also use it as a general coverage receiver. And if you press this, you will get a keyboard, which will allow you to punch in the frequency that you want to listen to. You can also enter the frequency that you wish to use using this. By pressing the ENT button, you'll also see a keyboard, which will allow you to punch in directly the frequency you want to go to. When you finish punching it in, however, you have to hit enter a second time. Okay, now we punch the mode key. And this picture shows the various modes that are available. You have each mode, you just need to click on the mode on the screen to get to that mode. Now, as far as CW is concerned, for 160 through 40 meters, you'd use CW lower sideband. And for above 30 meters and above, you would use CW upper sideband. If you're on upper sideband only or lower sideband only, that would be the ones you would connect to or press on. So let's go back to the first slide, which is the slide that shows the entire front after we have just turned on the power. Now, several people have asked, how do we utilize the internal antenna tuner, which this radio has? You would come over here to the tune button. Remember, that's the 4th button of the 4 that I mentioned. And you would merely press this button, which will activate the tuner. And you hold the button for about 2 seconds, and you'll hear mechanical noises, which is the antenna tuning tuner working to find the best match between the radio and the antenna. Once the mechanical noises have stopped, it means the antenna tuner is adjusted, and it means that you have the best match between the radio and the antenna itself. Now, you may also see if there's a problem. Up here, you'll see a little icon that says high SWR. When you see that, it merely means that for whatever reason, the tuner has been unable to match the antenna and the radio. Now, I've been asked, how do you go quickly from one end of the band to the other? Well, certainly you could turn the main tuning dial, but that's very, very, very slow. So if you want to go fast or get to one end of the band from the other, you would hit fast, and a little icon will show here, which says fast. And then you take the dial and you can very rapidly go from one end of the band to another. However, you have to be careful because it's very easy to accidentally hit the lock key, which case you'll see a little icon open that says lock. And if you try to turn the main tuning dial, nothing will happen. So just make sure that lock is not here. It doesn't appear. Now, let's say for the sake of discussion that you want to leave the transmit frequency where it is, but you want to vary the receive frequency. So some people call this the clarifier. Another name for it is receiver incremental tuning. Also the same. So in order to utilize that, you would press this button, and you would see on this screen here, you'd see two sets of frequencies. One frequency listed here, one frequency listed here. The frequency that will change is the upper frequency, which is in this case, the receive frequency. And you would use this knob to change it, and you can basically go up or down quite a long way. In fact, probably as far as a couple hundred kilohertz if you wanted. Why you would want that, I don't know. But most people, you just need to tune maybe a kilohertz or two off to get them tuned in on the receiver so that you can understand them properly. To end the clarifier, or the RIT, you merely press clarifier again. Note on this screen that we are in clarifier mode, but we haven't set up the second frequency. Okay, now these are rather obvious, but I need to mention them. The RF gain is here, the AF gain, the volume is here. Now let's go to the main screen again. As we were talking, I said you can get quickly onto the air by pressing merely 4 buttons. And the 4 were the ones we mentioned: the band, the mode, and the tune. So what you would do is first turn on after you've made sure your antenna is properly connected. Then you'd hit the band, select the appropriate band. Then you'd hit the mode, select the appropriate mode. After that, you would hit tune. And once it tuned up, you're ready to go on that frequency, on that band, with whatever mode you selected. Okay, so let's go through that again. This is the band screen. You would select which band you wanted by pressing on the band that you want. This is the mode screen. You would press on the mode that you want. And then you would hit tune, as we talked about. This has been a quick run through on the FT-991A. And I'd like to go now into a little greater depth of how to get the radio into some of the more sophisticated modes. And we're going to do that now. Okay, we're back on the main screen again. Now we're going to talk about some more sophisticated aspects of this radio. But remember, you want to get on the air quickly. Remember the 4 buttons: on, off, be on, band, mode, and tune. Now let's look at this screen here. This is sort of a general screen that will allow you to have access to 4 other screens. Some elements can be changed on any of those 5 screens, and those are the 4 things down here: meter, RF power, speed, and sweep. So let's say, for example, you want to change your power. You would click on this with your finger and then use the multi-knob to either reduce or increase the power. Maximum power is 100, so you can't get higher than that. The meter is over here. You would press on that, and the meter is currently set on PO, which stands for power output. But by pressing this repeatedly, you can get so the meter will read different parameters. For example, it can read transmit current, it can read transmit voltage, it can read compression, and it can read SWR. So whatever you want the meter to read, you merely punch this several times, and this will change each time you punch it, and you'll be able to get the meter in the mode that you want. Now, notice backward and forward. Well, what does this do? Well, if you press this button, it will get you to the next screen to the right, or if you press this button, the next screen to the left. Now, each screen will be different, and there'll be different parameters on each screen. Now, as I mentioned, you can change all of these elements here on any of the screens. This part of the screen does not change. But let's say you wanted to change narrow versus wide. Right now, it's in wide mode for a CW for sideband. That's what this stands for, wide mode. It's 2400 hertz. Now, let's say you wanted to go to a more narrow mode. You would take this button here and repeatedly hit it until you got to the screen that showed in this block. It would be replaced with something called wide narrow 2400. So you would click on this screen, or this item on the screen, and it would show 2400 here on the bottom, and you could either increase it or decrease it using the multi. If you want, for example, to put the noise blanketer on, you would merely press this and would say on. If for some reason you wanted to activate the attenuator, you would hit this with your finger to turn the attenuator on. Same thing with the AGC, automatic gain control. It's currently defaults to auto, but you can have it as fast or slow or auto. Now, let's talk about separate transmit and receive. You can't see it very well, but this button here to the right says the word split. So you would press this button, and on the screen above, you'd see 2 frequencies. One was the transmit frequency, which is here, and the other would be the receive frequency. In addition, you would see this red dot here, which indicates which VFO is being used for transmit, and it'll appear over here. So let's say, for example, you're listening to a station, and he says, go up 10. to transmit. So he's listening up 10. You would then click on whichever one of these is the receive mode, and then you can leave the transmit mode fixed, or conversely, you can click on the transmit mode and then using the main tuning dial, go up to where the frequency is that he'll be listening for you. Now you can flip the transmit and the receive frequencies very easily. A over B, which means whatever is up here will go down here. Whatever's down here will go up there. Now, if for some reason you just want to have both VFOs on the same, you hit A equals B. Both VFOs will be reading exactly the same, both transmit and receive. One additional item is if you have preloaded the memories, which I'm not going to get into because it's a little bit involved, and you wish to go to one of the memories to call up a particular frequency, you would press this button here, VM. It allows you to switch between the memories and the VFO. If you switch to the memories, you'd get a list of frequencies which had been previously entered. You merely put your finger on the frequency in memory that you want and press on that, and immediately it will go up to here. That pretty much runs through the majority of the commonly used buttons on the FT-991 Alpha. I deliberately separated the simple startup from the more complicated so that you can get running easily just by viewing the beginning part of this presentation. So I thank you all for listening. Hopefully this presentation has been helpful. And of course, one can always read the manual. The manual is available online, and also you will receive a manual if you purchase this radio. 73s, this is Marc N4DR signing off.